Hey everyone, welcome back to OCD Recovery's YouTube channel, where today I'm going to talk about something I've talked about numerous times, and it's really hard to see the correlation between your life and your OCD. People mistakenly separate these things and they say, this is my OCD, this is my life. It's one and the same. You and your OCD are one and the same. The genetics of your OCD are entwined in your cells and your neurology. There is no such thing as Nick's life and Nick's OCD and vice versa. They are one and the same. This single mistake holds so many people back. I'm going to talk about why it's so important to decrease your procrastination and other areas of your life. Stop shortcutting things, because I cannot tell you how important this is to build your resilience and your frustration tolerance when it comes to OCD recovery. Before I go any further, please subscribe, hit that like button down below. Phil at OCDrecovery.com. Message him to learn about our webinar packages, our one-to-one packages, our intensive courses, all the people that we deal with. We work with people all over the world, translators when needed. The webinars are a blast. Sometimes we have 50, 60 countries at one webinar when there's 200 people there. It's truly a lot of fun. So what you do in your life that's not breaking down your core fears or changing your compulsions related to your core fears and your avoidance behaviors has a direct impact on your primary problems with your OCD. So I'll give you an example. If you shortcut everything at work like I used to do, if you skip out on all the exercises at the gym that your physical therapist gave you, if you stop brushing your teeth or flossing, if you say you're going to do something and you don't do it, and then maybe one thing here and there, but you have 100 things you've been saying you're going to do over the last 3 years, and things are building up, and now you have hoarding problems, and now you have financial issues. All of that cannot be present, in my opinion, and you recover from OCD. It's just not possible. OCD and anxiety recovery is such a OCD itself is such a resilient disorder. It takes so much effort to get better that it's looking for other lazy behavioral traits. You are a human. You're going to make mistakes. We're not looking for perfection. But we have the two problems. People say, well, if I can't get perfection, there's no point in trying. That's a shit way to live your life. And the other one is trying to be perfect. And if I make a mistake, I'm a loser, right? So we have to meet somewhere in the middle. You could still have good discipline and sternness in, I want to get these habits done. I want to do my best. I want to stop being behaviorally lazy. Remember, you cannot be a lazy person. You cannot be evil. You cannot be good. You cannot be anything. You just are a person with good and bad traits, depending on what society believes, the time period you live in, and the people that are surrounded by you. If you live in a community with 100 people that are murderers, and you murder people, and you come home and you say, I killed 6 people today, they're probably all going to think you're great. Because that's a ridiculous example, but it's a realistic example, because that is this in what we mean by societal values and the people that you live with dictating. Like when you have 2 groups of people fighting each other, group A thinks that they're right and group B thinks that they're right. There's no way to scientifically prove who's right or wrong. No matter what it's just what you believe in and what you think is right. It's the same thing with lazy behavioral traits. What I consider lazy is biased towards my type of hyperactivity and discipline levels I have in my life. I've had to change that, or else I held that against other people, which was not good. Most people that would probably consider themselves disciplined, I would consider themselves not disciplined, in my opinion. There are levels to this. There are people out, maniacs out there like, and I think they're way too extreme. Good points, but the Gogginses of the world, the Jocko Williams, and etc. Great. Doing really well in their careers. You do not need to live your life like that. That is absolutely out of control. It's a personal choice if you want to live a life like Goggins and Jocko and other people. But a lot of them have horrible fears of rejection because they believe that acceptance means complacency, and that's not good. So you really want to work on your behaviors in your life, your gym, nutrition, the whole fitness and health, okay? Hygiene, showering, brushing your teeth, etc. Being balanced with only taking content in from one place. Listen to different things. That's usually a good skill to have, open-mindedness. How you're communicating with people. Are you yelling at people at the workplace? How's your money management? Are you overspending all the time? Are you in a ton of debt? That's a big problem. Are you compromising in your relationships with your spouse? With your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister? Do you want to always be about you? I hear all sorts of crazy things on calls all the time. People think there's nothing wrong with it. You can accept any situation. It does not mean it's a good habit. You can accept yourself for anything. It doesn't mean it's a good habit. I have to tell people this all the time. You can accept yourself being fat, okay? I know we're weird nowadays. We have all these different terms to make people feel better. It's fat. There's not even a need for the word obese. You're just fat. I was fat. I was fat as fuck. Okay? I gained a shitload of weight. I was a roly-poly. I was a circle. This is my body shape. My face. Yeah, someone can take a picture of that. That's what I look like all the time. And I was fat. And accepting that reality because my habits in my nutrition and my health and fitness were poor. That directly correlates with you being able to break down your core fears. You got to ask yourself, how am I going to be able to accept the possibility of the fear of losing control and harming a loved one? How are you going to be able to break that down? Michael Myers. How can you break that down and accept that if you can't even floss your teeth? It's really hard. It's really hard. Of course, at times, like I get it maybe once a month, a couple times a quarter in 3-4 months. It's late at night. I'm only going to get like 5.5 hours of sleep. And I'm like, fuck this. I'll brush my teeth in the morning. But I try to do it 2 nights in a row, and I try to do it often. So I'm a human. I slip for the most part. That's why I have a great book called the 80-20 Principle. So, and that's many things in life. Nutrition, exercise, going places. It's a good principle to practice in your life for balance. But if it's more 10-90, where it's 10 good, 90 shit, then your chance of recovery are also 0. They're 0. I'm telling you right now, I work with OCD all day, every day. There's not that many people on this planet that understand this disorder more than me or work with it nearly as much as I do. And I have a huge data pool to say that people with really bad habits outside of breaking down their main fears have a very hard time recovering. Like it's almost virtually impossible. You know, if you're screaming at people on the road raging, if you're going out there and you're drinking and you're doing drugs all the time and you're doing all these things, not like an addictive sense, just like a standard partying sense, which is also problematic. If you're skim reading books, if you're screaming at your partner, if you're doing whatever you want to do, if you're acting very behaviorally, selfishly and all that, and then you look at me and say, I have POCD, how do I accept my worst case scenario? And I just say, well, we have to start with you brushing your fucking teeth. And they get all mad at you because they're like, does that have to do with anything? But it does. It has to do with everything. So it's a critical piece. So Phil at OCDrecovery.com. Please do not overlook this. I cannot tell you the importance. We're not looking for perfection. We're not trying to be Jocko Williams or David Goggins. You can be just like that. If they had better acceptance, I would think they would probably even achieve more potentially. I mean, it's hard to achieve more when you achieve as much as those guys do and other men and women like that. But you know, the other side of the coin is, well, what's the point? If I can't get perfection, there's no point in trying. And that's a problem as well. So please reach out. We can help you break this down. Phil at OCDrecovery.com. Hope to hear from you soon. And as always, enjoy the rest of your day.